Hey there, today we're going to be going over the Bowtech Deadlock tuning system that comes standard on all their high performance bows, and in my opinion is one of the most intuitive and easy to use tuning systems on the market right now. Essentially what it is it puts your cam on a gear system on the axle, which allows you to shift it to the left or to the right for any tuning purposes you may have. In my opinion, it's super intuitive and easy to use. You don't have to use spacers or shims to move anything around or even use a bow press. So it makes it super accessible and easy to use for really anybody, even if you're just getting started or you have lots of tuning experience. It's really easy to figure out. So let's dive right into it. So first things first, we want to make sure we have a good baseline just for paper tuning in general. So you want to make sure that you get your bow leveled out properly. You want your arrow to be running as close to the center through that burger hole on your riser as possible. Make sure it's all leveled out nicely. I typically run my arrow slightly knock high. Most bows tend to tune left like that, just in my own personal experience. Next, we want to check and make sure that our center shot is correct because we want that arrow to be nice and center on the riser as well. Easiest way to do that is to put it in a vise or hold it up nice and straight, and you're going to look from the back side and line that string up with the center of your grip, and also line it up through the center of your riser as you go up to the top of the cam and the bottom of the cam. Make sure that's all in line nice and straight through the grip. And then you're gonna look at your arrow and see if that arrow is in line with the string as it's lined up with the center of your riser. Now, if it's slightly off one way or the other, easy to adjust, just kind of shift your rest either to the left or maybe a little bit to the right until you feel like that arrow is nice and center in line with the string going through the center of your riser and the center of your grip. That's an easy way to just kind of eyeball it. There are other ways to do it as well by measuring the distance from the riser to the center of your arrow. Every bow company has their own measurement to tell you where is going to be the exact dead center of the riser. But for the most part, just for this purpose, you can easily just eyeball it, make sure it looks nice and center, and then that's a good starting point from there. So now that we got our bow leveled out and center shot, we're gonna go ahead and take a few shots through the paper and just see what it's doing. When you're taking your shots through paper, you really wanna focus and make sure that you got your form perfect every single time. You really don't wanna be inducing any kind of wrist torque or anything like that. Make sure you get a nice clean shot through that paper. Now I just took a shot, so we're gonna take a look and see what the arrow is doing. So as you can see here, we can see that the arrow is entering here on the right side, and then the fletchings are off to the left. So we're getting a left tear is what this is called. So it's entering and the fletchings, the back of the arrow is moving off to the left. So the arrow is kicking out to the left as it comes out of the bow. So we're gonna take a few more shots and see if that stays consistent. Because if you can repeat the exact same tear on multiple shots, then that's basically an indication that you need to retune the bow a little bit. But if you're taking shots and the tear is changing constantly, you can't get something consistent to go off of, that's usually an indication that you might be inducing wrist torque or your form needs a little bit of work to get more consistent until you can see a consistent tear with each shot. So after I've taken a few of these shots here, we can see that it is still tearing off to the left with each shot. So we're getting a consistent left tear. So for reference, here is a nice little easy to use guide as far as what adjustments to make when you are getting a tear. If you're getting up and down, you want to adjust your up tear and down tear first by either raising or lowering your rest or adjusting the knock set as needed. Now, as long as you don't have an up or down tear, then we can move on to the left and right. Now, typically in the past, what you would have to do is play with yokes, play with your cam lean, shift your rest left and right. But with the deadlock system, it allows us to bypass all of that and just move to shifting your cam left or right on the deadlock system. So now that we know we're getting a consistent left tear, we need to go ahead and adjust this on our deadlock system to tune that tear out of the arrow. So with the arrow entering and the tail tearing off to the left side, an easy way to remember this when you're using the deadlock system is to always follow the way that the arrow is tearing. So since we know that the arrow is kicking out and tearing to the left, we need to shift our cam to the left as well. So chase that horizontal tear. If it's going to the left, move your cams left. If it's going to the right, move your cams to the right. So we're going to loosen up the little lock screw on the deadlock system here, and we're going to shift our cam just a little bit to the left. It really takes very minor adjustments, either a quarter turn, an eighth of a turn, or at most a half turn if you need to move it pretty far. It really does not take much, just a small adjustment and it should get you there. And you also want to make sure that whatever you do on the top cam, you do the exact same on the bottom cam as well. So now that we've made some adjustments on the deadlock system and shifted that cam over a little bit, we'll take a few more shots and keep making small adjustments to that deadlock system, either shifting it to the left or to the right, until we get it dead on and we get a nice, clean, perfect bullet hole right through the paper. So you can see here, I've moved it a little too far and got a right tear, moved it a little too far again and got a left tear, and then I got it just in between the two and got a nice, clean, perfect bullet hole. That's what we're looking for right there. A nice, perfect circle entry hole with your 3 fletchings directly behind it. Now the bow is paper tuned and good to go. So other adjustments you can make if you feel like the deadlock tuning system, you're moving it too far or you're getting cable contact or anything like that, is they added a carbon arm on the cable roller itself. So this arm is flexible and you can actually shift it in and out just by tightening or loosening the screw that holds it onto the riser. So this is just an additional option for more adjustments if you need to pull your cables further away from your cams or let them come in a little bit closer. You do have that option as well. With all of this combined, Bowtech makes some of the most easy to use and tunable systems on the archery market today. Bowtech is definitely one of my favorites. Anytime I see it come into the pro shop, I'm really excited because I know tuning it is going to be such a breeze, really easy to use, and I'll be in and out in about 5 to 10 minutes and that bow is going to be tuned no problem. So if you have any other questions about the deadlock system or even just tuning in general, feel free to comment below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Otherwise, happy shooting. Thanks for watching.